There's a moment captured on tape where a 21-year-old Justin Bieber sits across from one of the most beloved talk show hosts in America, and she looks directly at him and says something that, in hindsight, sounds absolutely predatory.
I was 21. Even better.
Yeah.
That's Ellen DeGeneres on national television, in front of an audience, speaking about a young male celebrity like he's a purchase she's considering. But that's just the beginning, because behind the scenes, behind the cameras, behind closed doors at private parties with restricted guest lists and surveillance equipment everywhere, two of Hollywood's most powerful figures allegedly built an entire pipeline designed to pull young talent into environments where they had zero protection.
Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So yeah, and we gonna go full crazy.
And when 50 Cent started connecting these dots and dropping receipts on what really happened between Ellen DeGeneres and Sean Diddy Combs, Hollywood went into complete panic mode.
50 tapes all over, 250 cameras all over the house. Somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician. But they didn't think they was being watched.
This is the story that's about to change everything you thought you knew about how power actually works in the entertainment industry. And it all connects back to one person, Justin Bieber, a kid discovered on YouTube, a kid who trusted the wrong people, a kid who may have been systematically exploited by a network that operated in plain sight for decades. Let's rewind to 2009. YouTube is still new, social media is still figuring itself out, and a 15-year-old kid from Stratford, Ontario, records himself singing covers in his bedroom. His name is Justin Bieber. He has no idea that this single decision, posting a video on YouTube, is about to put him directly into the crosshairs of some of the most powerful, most connected, and allegedly most predatory figures in Hollywood. The video goes viral. Within months, millions of people are watching this Canadian kid sing. He's got talent, he's got charisma, he's got youth, and most importantly, he's got zero industry experience. He doesn't know the rules, he doesn't know the players, he doesn't know which doors to trust. Enter Usher Raymond. Usher sees the video. Usher recognizes the potential. Usher positions himself as the mentor. And on the surface, it looks legitimate. It looks like an established artist taking a young talent under his wing. It looks like industry networking done right. But here's what people didn't know at the time. Usher had his own history with the people he was about to introduce Justin to.
I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no. Think about that for a second. Usher, who had been mentored by Diddy, who lived in Diddy's house, when asked if he'd ever let his own children experience the same thing, his answer was immediate, emphatic, and terrified. Hell no. That's not the response of someone who had a positive mentorship experience. That's the response of someone who witnessed something so disturbing, so harmful, that he doesn't want any child he loves to ever go through it. And yet, within a few years, that's exactly where Usher was leading Justin Bieber. But Diddy wasn't the only powerful figure operating in the shadows. There was another player, someone who had built a daytime television empire, someone who had access to millions of viewers every single day, someone whose public image was so squeaky clean, so untouchable, that nobody would ever think to look too closely at what she was actually doing. Ellen DeGeneres. For decades, Ellen brought them onto her show. She elevated them. She made them famous. And then, according to critics analyzing her behavior, she introduced them into circles they had no business being in at such a young age.
Hello, you two. How are you?
Okay.
Good, I'm glad. So, is this your first time on TV?
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
No.
No? You're excited?
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you. And you are Sophia, right? Do I call you Sophia?
Yeah.
Sophia
You
Grace?
can call me Sophia Grace.
Sophia Grace? All right, I will. And you're Rosie?
Yeah.
Hi, Rosie. Rosie, you're 5?
Yeah.
And Sophia Grace, you're 8. All right.
On the surface, it's a cute interview with a talk show host and 2 young girls. But what critics started noticing was a pattern. Ellen didn't just interview young talent, she cultivated relationships with them. She used her platform to introduce them into exclusive circles. She positioned herself as a mentor, a friend, someone they could trust, and then those young people would disappear from public view, only to reappear later, changed, different, carrying baggage that didn't match their age. This wasn't just about Ellen and a couple of viral kids. This was systematic. So here's where it gets really interesting. For years, Ellen DeGeneres and Sean Diddy Combs maintained a very public friendship. They were seen together constantly. They joked together, they laughed together, they talked about his parties on her show. Like everybody already understood what they were talking about. And back then, nobody questioned it.
So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like, what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party.
The audience laughs, Ellen laughs, Diddy laughs. It's all very cute and funny on daytime television. But what they're actually discussing, what they're openly joking about in front of millions of viewers, is the reality of Diddy's private parties. The ones with restricted guest lists. The ones that went until 2 or 3 in the morning. The ones where things happened that couldn't be discussed on television. And Ellen is in on the joke. Ellen understands exactly what he's talking about. Ellen is comfortable enough with the subject matter to riff on it, to joke about it, to normalize it for a daytime audience, like a big brother, like someone looking out for him. But the language, the specific language that Diddy uses, starts to make a lot more sense once you understand what was actually happening.
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh?
No,
you
not
ain't
really.
been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. But you never really got my number, so.
Diddy is expressing that Bieber is pulling away. Diddy is using language that suggests they had been spending significant time together. Diddy is emphasizing that he should be able to contact Bieber directly without going through business channels. Then there's the car conversation.
Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, he could buy you one also while you're out.
Got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Oh, apparently not.
That's not mentorship, that's not friendly teasing. That's a powerful man reminding a teenager that there are things they do together that cannot be discussed publicly, that there are things that are private, that there are things that are part of a secret that they share. That's control language. That's silencing language. Then came what 50 Cent and others believe was the pivotal moment, the moment that changed everything for Justin Bieber, the moment that allegedly broke something inside him that he spent the last decade trying to recover from. It happened when Bieber was 15 years old. Diddy gave an interview where he talked about spending 48 hours with Bieber, just the 2 of them, and the way he described it, the energy, the excitement, the vagueness about what they actually did, started raising major red flags for people analyzing his words after everything came out.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Let's be extremely clear about what we're hearing. Diddy is claiming to have custody of a 15-year-old for 48 hours. He's referencing the movie 48 Hours, which for those who don't know, is about a cop taking a criminal out for one last wild night. He's saying they can't disclose what they're doing. He's saying it's a 15-year-old's dream. He's promising to go full buck, full crazy. This isn't mentorship. This isn't guidance. This is a description of an adult taking control of a minor for a predetermined amount of time for undisclosed activities that apparently can't be talked about. When 50 Cent started circulating this clip, the response was immediate because people understood what they were hearing. He left hints, he left clues scattered throughout interviews and songs and public moments, little pieces of the truth that fans and critics started piecing together after the 50 Cent revelations.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they loved me and, just turn their back on you. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. Yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call.
He's talking about Billie Eilish. He's talking about Millie Bobby Brown. He's talking about young female artists who he believed were in danger. And the language he uses, "I don't want her to go through anything I went through," is deeply specific. He's not talking about industry pressure. He's not talking about the normal challenges of fame. He's talking about something personal, something that was done to him, something that he experienced firsthand. Then there's the Yummy music video. Fans spent hours analyzing the Yummy music video, frame by frame, after the Diddy situation came out. And what they discovered was deeply unsettling. The video shows Bieber at a party with wealthy, powerful people. There's a sandwich in front of him. The sandwich is turned toward him, face up, and inside is a cherry. A cherry, in symbolism, represents purity, virginity, innocence. She was making him uncomfortable in ways that audiences didn't fully register at the time.
He's 21. Even better.
Yeah.
Better for me.
He's very...
Okay, that is not possible.
He's
I have
handsome.
not seen that.
Oh,
That
no?
is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
I know. He's good looking.
Do you think he'd go on a... Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Stop it. That's not possible, right?
I made a turtleneck for you because I know you're a fan. So
look at that. That's so great.
Then you can be a believer.
I can be a...
That's what you're called if you're I think I have one more. Oh, I Heart Bieber.
Ellen is literally sexualizing Bieber on daytime television. She's making comments about his age being better for her. She's presenting him with clothing that emphasizes his body. She's creating an atmosphere of sexual tension on a platform watched by millions of viewers and their children. And this is the same Ellen who was friends with Diddy, the same Ellen who understood what his parties actually entailed, the same Ellen who was comfortable joking about his secretive private gatherings on national television. How did Bieber stay quiet for so long? How did other young talents stay quiet? How did Usher, who knew what was happening, not speak up earlier? The answer lies in understanding the infrastructure of control that Diddy built.
50 tapes all over, 250 cameras all over the house. Somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician. But they didn't think they was being watched, and Brother Love was watching.
The genius and the horror of this system is that it created a perfect blackmail apparatus. If anyone ever thought about speaking up, if anyone ever considered going to authorities, Diddy allegedly had footage, video evidence, recorded proof, material that could destroy careers, families, lives. So what do you do when you know something horrific happened to you, but you also know that speaking about it would result in the release of material that would destroy your life? You stay quiet. You build a successful career to prove you weren't broken. And it wasn't just about Diddy. 50 started bringing Ellen into the conversation. He started asking questions about her role in the pipeline. He started suggesting that Ellen wasn't just aware of what was happening, she was actively participating in it. The implications are staggering. If true, it means Ellen DeGeneres wasn't just a talk show host who occasionally made inappropriate comments. She was an active participant in a systematic exploitation network. She used her platform and her access to identify vulnerable young people. She introduced them into environments where they were exploited. She benefited, whether financially or through proximity to power, from this arrangement, and nobody questioned her. Nobody looked too closely because her public image was so carefully cultivated, so friendly, so untouchable, that the very idea seemed impossible. As 50 Cent started dropping more evidence, more connections started emerging. One of the most shocking involved Daphne Joy, who is the mother of 50 Cent's child, but who allegedly was also deeply involved in Diddy's private circles.
And that's what she got, but that was only the first time. We only did that once.
So he never joined in after that?
We'll swap sometimes though, like we'll be in the same room and like he'll hit for a little bit, and then I do my thing, but like he would only like be in and he'll be in and out quick. Pound it real quick and then be out. So.
Well, I guess the thing with Diddy was that he wasn't well endowed, so he was trying to give these girls something that he didn't have, but he wanted to control that, something like that? Because me and you talked about this.
So yeah, he told me I can give my girl anything in the world, but I can't give her that. Talking about my so.
The fact that this testimony was made public, that a grown man was willing to describe his sexual involvement with Diddy's circle in detail, indicated how desperate the situation had become, how exposed Diddy's network had become, how impossible it was to maintain the facade any longer. And it meant that 50 Cent had leverage. He had testimony. He had evidence. He had people willing to talk. Once the pieces started connecting publicly, once people understood the scope of the network, once they realized that Ellen DeGeneres, one of the most beloved, most trusted figures in television, might have been an active participant in systematic exploitation, Hollywood entered a state of panic. Celebrities who had supported Ellen, who had praised her, who had built business relationships with her, they all had to scramble. They had to distance themselves. They had to delete old interviews or recontextualize their relationships with her. The social media response was swift and brutal. The realization was spreading like wildfire. If Ellen was involved, if Ellen was a knowing participant, then how many other celebrities knew? How many other powerful figures had information and stayed silent? How many other young people had been exploited with full knowledge of the entertainment industry's elite? As this story continues to unfold, as more evidence emerges, as more people come forward, there's one question that keeps circulating. The question that everyone is asking, but nobody can fully answer. What exactly happened during those 48 hours? What exactly happened in Diddy's house? What exactly happened in Ellen's circles? What exactly did Bieber experience that was so traumatic that he spent the next decade trying to heal from it? And more importantly, how many other young people went through the same thing? How many Biebers were there? How many young Sophia Graces and Rosies were identified, cultivated, and introduced into these environments? That's not a kid talking about fame being hard. That's a survivor talking about betrayal. That's someone who trusted the wrong people with his safety, his body, his future. One of the most chilling aspects of this entire situation is understanding how the exploitation network operated. And it became clear, as people analyzed the pattern, that YouTube wasn't just where talent was discovered. YouTube was where prey was identified. The pattern was unmistakable. Young person goes viral on YouTube. Established celebrity discovers them. That celebrity introduces them into powerful circles. That young person either disappears from public view or begins a documented spiral into mental health crises. The cycle repeats. It wasn't random. It wasn't coincidence. It was systematic. It was a machine designed to identify vulnerable young people and introduce them into environments where they could be exploited. One of the most powerful pieces of evidence in this entire narrative is the story of Aaron Carter. Carter was another young entertainer who rose to fame in the late 1990s and early 2000s. He had similar experiences to Bieber. He was young, he was talented, he was surrounded by powerful adults, and he tried to warn everyone about what was happening. Carter's statement is haunting. It's a description of organized psychological warfare, coordinated harassment, systems designed to make a victim look unstable if they try to speak up. And his story became a template for understanding what likely happened to Justin Bieber, what likely happened to countless other young entertainers. As 50 Cent started connecting all these dots, as evidence started emerging, as the scope of the exploitation network became clear, people began asking a critical question. Why have so many victims stayed silent for so long? The answer, as researchers and critics have pointed out, is that there's an entire ecosystem designed to keep people quiet. This combination of mechanisms doesn't just suppress individual voices, it creates an entire culture of silence, an entire industry-wide understanding that certain things cannot be discussed, certain people cannot be questioned, certain truths cannot be told, and that's how a network like Ellen and Diddy's could operate in plain sight for decades. One of the most difficult aspects of this narrative to process is understanding Usher's role. Usher knew. He explicitly stated that he knew. He lived in that environment. He saw things that were so disturbing that he later said he would never allow his own children to experience the same thing. And yet, he guided Justin Bieber directly into that environment anyway. The question that haunts everyone is, why was Usher complicit? Was he part of the network? Was he actively facilitating Bieber's exploitation? Or was Usher himself so traumatized, so controlled, so afraid that he felt he had no choice but to pass the burden onto someone else? The contradiction in Usher's actions is striking and deeply troubling. He says hell no, he wouldn't send his own kids through what he experienced, but he sends a teenager who trusted him into that exact situation. What does that tell us about the nature of the control that was being exerted? What does that tell us about how deep the manipulation went? The most charitable interpretation is that Usher was a victim trying to navigate a system that had already captured him, that he felt trapped, that he thought he could protect protect Bieber by introducing him to the right people, not understanding that those people were part of the network. The darker interpretation is that Usher was actively facilitating the exploitation of other young people because he was being coerced or financially incentivized to do so. And the tragic reality is probably somewhere in between. What makes this story even more disturbing is its potential connection to larger networks of exploitation. After the Jeffrey Epstein case exploded and millions of pages of documents were released, people started asking whether the Ellen Diddy network was part of a larger ecosystem. Were these isolated incidents? Or were Ellen and Diddy part of a much broader system of exploitation that involved government figures, wealthy individuals, celebrities, and institutional players? The Department of Justice released millions of pages of Epstein-related documents. Those documents revealed connections, names, and patterns. And that, in many ways, is the most powerful testimony of all. As this story continues to unfold, as investigations continue, as more evidence emerges, the central questions remain. What exactly happened during those 48 hours with Diddy? What was Ellen's precise role in the exploitation network? How many other young people were victimized? Why did Usher guide Justin into that environment? What footage exists? What recordings are there? Who else knew? Who else was complicit? And perhaps most importantly, will justice ever be served? The streets are watching now. 50 Cent has made it clear that he's willing to keep exposing the truth. The public is engaged. The narrative is shifting. And for the first time in decades, some of the most powerful people in entertainment are facing real accountability. But the questions remain unanswered. The full truth hasn't been told. And somewhere, there are probably other young people, other victims, other stories waiting to be heard. What 50 Cent has done by connecting these dots, by bringing Ellen into the conversation, by exposing the systematic nature of the exploitation, is create a moment where the entertainment industry can no longer hide behind carefully constructed public images. Ellen DeGeneres can no longer be seen as just a friendly talk show host. Diddy can no longer be seen as just a music mogul. And the relationships between them and the young people they surrounded themselves with can no longer be ignored or forgotten. The panic in Hollywood right now isn't just about scandal. It's about the terrifying realization that the system of silence is breaking, that the layers of protection are eroding, that victims and truth tellers and people like 50 Cent are systematically dismantling the apparatus that allowed exploitation to flourish for decades, and nobody knows who's going to be exposed next. That's what has Hollywood in full panic mode. That's what has celebrities scrambling to distance themselves from Ellen, from Diddy, from anyone who might be connected to this network, because if the system can be broken for two of the most powerful people in entertainment, nobody is safe. Nobody's image is untouchable. Nobody's past is truly hidden. The reckoning has begun. And based on what 50 Cent has already exposed, what's coming next could completely reshape our understanding of power, exploitation, and accountability in the entertainment industry.